quality of my video feed's going to be tonight. I've kind of had intermittent service down here. We're a little ways down below Helena. And I was going to do a live feed and kind of talk about the river levels and stuff this afternoon or yesterday afternoon. Actually, it's Monday morning, Sunday afternoon. But um, a combination of my battery being low on my phone, signal being spotty, and I was actually kind of tired. I'm getting down to my last watches of the trip, so yeah, I was feeling the fatigue, and so like I said, this channel's not my priority. My actually driving the boat's my priority, so I can't make sacrifices that are going to cause me to be tired or something like that.
Yeah,
So
that place up there, you just need to watch your stern whenever you get ready to take off. Make sure you don't swing it into the bank too far.
anyway, finishing up here.
Couple lines will be
We're
off
picking
on
up.
the bottom weight, and we'll be up there to help you get them wrapped off right and all that.
Hey, I think we're getting our last barge. Last barges.
Whichever way works best. I mean, if you want to just,
I can't hear
if
you
you
talking.
get tied off and just face up to them and bust them loose and take off, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I have to price them out.
No, I can barely hear you. Okay. Anyway, no, but that was a lot of it. Talking about the river. I like to get the information out. Actually, I get off the boat, I'll be able to give a little bit more information. A lot of it's just, a lot of it's because, to be real honest, man, it's my experience in 2012 when we were having issues up and down the river. I was too focused. I was running front watch. I was on that Gregory David then. Me and Eddie Wilson were riding together. And it was just a lot to deal with. It was a lot of stuff going on up and down the river that we necessarily weren't dealing with in the area that we were. But it's one of those things where you kind of lose. I was looking at the whole picture and the big picture, and it was just overwhelming and kind of scary. And instead, just focus on what was right in front of me. I mean, it was a good life lesson, I guess. But, and it's really how I operate now. I don't really focus like me. People asking questions and comments and wanting to know about stuff on the river down below, even news stories. I kind of stayed away from that because it's really easy. Just I want to argue with them, and there's nobody to argue with. It's just reading somebody's opinion that they put down on what's going on. And when you're looking at it like that, it's always you can always pick it apart from the basics, and that's usually what they're covering is the basics. Anyway, long and the short, I just worry about what we're dealing with right here. What we're looking at, what I'm going to deal with the next watch, and it makes number one, I don't stress as much, and it makes the trip. It makes my job much more manageable, especially in extreme situations. Um, yeah, I guess that's it. That's me justifying for not doing a live feed today of explaining the low river conditions. I mean, it was definitely a selfish reason, but I don't know. I like passing on information that I can on the channel and giving good, reliable info, what I'm seeing and stuff. But sometimes I can go down rabbit holes and, I don't. I don't need that stress. So, like I say, I'll get off the boat Tuesday. If I'm not too sick of river stuff, I'll maybe I can compile a little video of explaining the low river conditions and how it affects us and how it's going to affect things going forward. And yeah, nah. It's going to slow the harvest. I mean, it was one of those things you can kind of you see. From my perspective, it was a slow rolling train wreck, I guess, um, to see it, because early in the trip I could see what the river stages were going to be and kind of what was happening as far as the weather patterns and harvest getting going, seeing the crops the stage that they were. As I was coming to the boat, I knew harvest was, fixing to get ramped up. And yeah, it was just, and knowing where barges were and stuff, I made a call to my son. Me and him were talking about it like the first week I was on the boat and discussed, man, I said, do you know anything about grain futures? Because there would be, uh, I saw opportunities. Try to turn that knowledge into money some way, but I didn't really, didn't capitalize. But anyway, we're getting 20 barges here, and there's nothing over 10-foot draft. Everything's like 9.3, 9.6 foot draft, so it's lighter than normal. Especially down here. I mean, in a big river down here, those things would be loaded to 12 foot. Well, 10, over 10 foot, 11-foot draft. Some of those barges are heavier. I mean, deeper draft, but they would load them down. That's for sure. They would be loaded to the hilt. Whereas now, then they're not able to load them that much. And I saw something, the percentage that I think they load them to 60-70%. That seems like a little bit light. I would have thought that they carried a little bit more weight than that in them, but at 9.6 draft, they're definitely light. They look like barges. You could see barges. Normally this time of year, you'd see stuff like this, like would come off the Illinois River or the upper. You could tell that they were lighter barges, but the stuff we're picking up here would usually be loaded down, and it's not, so we can get down through. But anyway, and yeah, traffic, it was crazy last night when or I guess it was the night before, or last night. I lose track of watches. This late in a trip, it gets strange. Time becomes real strange. Anyway, whenever I came down through the closure area that they had back behind us up here, in between here and Memphis, it was an all-day procession, and all day and into the night. I think, well, actually, yeah, it was 18 hours plus to clear all those southbound boats. Actually, time we got down through there, yeah, it was about 18 hours. And I mean, those boats were lined up. They were, when I say bumper to bumper, I mean, they were literally just stacked up on top of each other, having to back up, it was really slack water, so that made it, more manageable. But yeah, it was, there was a few hot heads. There was tempers get a little warm, and it's understandable. It's, you get frustrations going, and then, we have the phone's burning up because you have office folks wanting to know what's going on. You're trying to find out stuff. There's, conflicting information, and it's just sorting through all that. And as a wheelman, sometimes you just got to really, that kind of goes back to the shutting things down and focus on. The other night when we left out Osceola, there were boats stopped up there, and I knew with what the tow size we had and stuff that I could really stop about anywhere, and I wasn't going to impede the northbound stuff coming up out of that closure area. So anyway, I'll let Coast Guard know we were just going to keep going. I kept going on down and would look down in the chart, just looking at all the parking spots available, and we were able to, work our way on down through all that traffic that was holding up. Anyway, because of our limited tow size. Anyway, and I'm sure I was getting phone call. Matter of fact, I'm aware. I talked to the Coast Guard about 10 minutes that night before we left Osceola, letting them know, hey man, I know there's going to be folks that are upset when they see me coming southbound with everything backed in and stopped, but I'm not going to impede any of the northbound stuff coming out of there. And, you know, we're going to the fleet. We're not going down anyway, long and the short. They were understanding, but then we got an email the next day on it saying the Coast Guard was flooded with phone calls about people cutting in line and stuff. And anyway, I guess I'm kind of letting it all out now, but that was more than likely us. But I had a conversation with the Coast Guard before I took off from Osceola, letting them know, our situation, and that we wouldn't be, causing any. I wasn't going to get down there into a traffic jam and cause problems. But I don't think some of the boats that were stopped along the way were too aware of that. They didn't understand that. And yeah, I heard side chatter where I was getting cussed. Anyway, I think we got one more to put in out there. We're getting 20, like I say, we'll be 5 long and 4 wide. And I don't know how far down we'll make it our next week. We're filled out, actually. They're not going to put any more on us. I thought we might go 25, and they may on down. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention, other than I know that we're leaving out over 20 and head down. And my man lives down around Greenville area. I'm getting off Tuesday. Actually, this is Monday morning, so I've got this watch, this afternoon's watch, and a wake up on Tuesday morning. Well, no, Tuesday, I forget. I'm on back watch, so Tuesday morning. I've got 2 full watches and a wake up after this one. Anyway. Maybe that's a little bit of explanation of what I'm dealing with and tomorrow I'll see what's going on down the river, and it's going to be touchy. I'm trying to, on the reception. I've got a lot of footage that I'll put together and get out there as far as stuff that, videos from the trip. Maybe explaining stuff a little bit better in some of those clips where I don't, the live feed's just kind of a new thing that I've been doing. And it's not always best. The playbacks aren't always great. I've noticed the quality's not the best sometimes. So, yeah. Oh yeah, somebody's saying, Butch, aloha from Maui. Hey, my daughter was just there. My daughter just got, her and their long-term boyfriend were, I don't know if they were in Maui or where they were. I know they were in Hawaii. Deer Camp, Montgomery Point on the Big Island. Our cabin was at the corner where the white entered the Mississippi. Yeah, I know where that's at. Yeah. I don't know the cabin. I know where you're talking about, though. There's some nice hunting cabins around that area. Butch Weatherly comment on it. All right. Well, you're doing all right if you're in Maui right now and you had a deer camp at Montgomery Point. You living life right, brother. But yeah, that area. I actually noticed it this time coming up because it was daytime and I was coming up through there real slow. But the guy that used to do our custom wheat harvesting on my family farm back in Oklahoma. He did custom cutting. When he would get done with the hard red winter wheat season, they would do bean season. And long and the short, they did a bunch of custom harvesting for Monsanto, and I guess Monsanto had one of that big hunting camp right there at Victoria Bend. I think there's some really nice ones right along in there. from that Tureen Landing down to down to Victoria Bend, and there's one right there that's a huge one that definitely appears to have corporate money involved with it. And I think that's the one. Keith Heidelbright was his name. He was a local guy, a local kid made good, man, from around Hobart, Oklahoma. He was a Mountain View boy, and he basically got his start custom harvesting right around that area, around Hobart, Southwest Oklahoma, and I know that the Finning dad, Sam and Glenn Finning, my dad and my uncle got him really kick-started because they were his regular big farm that he would start his year with. And actually Keith lived in my grandmother's house for a little while there. Anyway, hunting cabin in there, he used to talk about it. And that was back in the 80s, before the lock was built. I don't know where Tidsnor, I don't know where that is, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I didn't know that Montgomery lock there is fairly new. I don't remember when it was being built. You're saying in the 80s. I guess I think I remember the construction of that, maybe early on, but that lock's always, I've never made the lock actually, because it's, just for extreme low water times. It's up the White. Okay, I've been up that little stretch. It's a pretty neat little stretch of river where you run that twist and turn in White River up to what is it, Lock 2 or whatever? No, yeah, I can't remember whether those locks are numbered. But that first lock there, what I'm talking about. Yeah, there was some pretty. I've got an idea. Matter of fact, I've got some videos of that, Butch, of some of those little hunting camps up along through there, where that old railroad bridge was, and I think on above it, if I'm thinking right. Anyway, I don't make that stretch often. It's been probably 5 years since I've been up it, but that's kind of neat. And for all this rattling on this playback, there's a guy that's in the chat that you won't be able to see now, or on the playback, was talking about a hunting cabin down there at Montgomery Point area, Victoria Bend, Rosedale area. There's a lot of hunting camps down around that area, Rosedale area, because you get the down below Rosedale Harbor, you got Catfish Point, and that's the one, the famed Hank Williams Jr.'s hunting cabin. And yeah, I wonder when he was. I've always wondered that. And when he was talking in Country Boy Can't Survive, I've wondered if he was writing that from that hunting cabin, or if he wrote the lyrics when he talks about the Mississippi River, she's going dry, and what year it was. Because if it was in, I don't know, that was before, it was 88, it was before 88, because I know in 88's when they had it real low. But I know it was before 88, because I remember listening to that song well before I graduated in 88. But yeah, I guess I'd have to look through old river stages. And I don't know if Hank Jr. had a hunting cabin there then or not. And I think, like I said, that's when I'm almost, I would say that's a pretty well confirmed river legend deal that Hank Jr. does have a cabin there. I think some of the locals have said he does. I know there used to be a little airstrip. There is a little airstrip for small planes that's right there in that bite of that bend there at Caulk Neck. I think it is Caulk or Caulk Neck. I can't remember. Right up in that low area you can see. When the water was high, you could see it. I had my radio turned down. They might have been hollering at me. Hey, was you hollering at me? Oh, I got you. What are we like one barge? All right, cool deal. Well, that'll finish my watch out. We still like one more barge you gotta go get by the bridge. And it's 3:14. The fella's coming back to get the cook up. I think they get her up at 3:30. Miss Tammy. She was up. Usually, it's kind of traditional on the towboats. Regular cooks take Sunday mornings off, and she was up yesterday morning, 4:30, down there cooking breakfast. She's a, she's a dandy. She is. She's from Hardy, Arkansas, and she's an amazing young lady. Uh, she does. She does a good job. She spoils us over here, that's for sure. And a little history. The David Solomon, that tug right there, is named after he was a really reputable, I think a judge from Helena, Arkansas area that actually my cousin Kathy, who is a federal judge um, appointed by President Clinton, and she's out of St. Louis. Anyway, she was, when that tug was named,
Anybody want?
when they had the dedication of that tug when it was built. When they had that tug built, she came down here and was here for the dedication because she was buddies with David Solomon, the man actually, or knew from him. I guess he's a real reputable, uh, like I said, attorney judge from Helen area. Anyway, we were at one of the family get-togethers years back, and we were talking about that, and well, window's a little dirty, and she asked me about it. We were talking about the Helena tug, about the David Solomon, and that's it right there. But yeah, and we were also discussing. It was kind of interesting to me that my cousin cousin Kathy, she presided over a case that I didn't have anything to do with, but I guess I wasn't a witness to. We were behind them when it happened. When the Belterra and that southern boat crashed there at the Long Docks, there above Caruthersville, back, I was a steersman, so that would have been 99, I guess. 99, 2000. Anyway, we were coming upriver behind them when it happened. Or, yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, because they'd actually got around me below Memphis the day before, and they were taking that boat up to Indiana where it ended up going. Long and short, it was an accident where Southern boat and that Belterra got into each other right there at those long dikes and ripped. I remember seeing it. We came by it after it happened. It ripped a gash down the side of that Belterra, and they yeah, it was the case that they ended up having over that, and she was the judge in that case in St. Louis, and there wasn't any, she didn't know anything. It was way after the fact when we were discussing it, but sorry about that. Maybe I had a blink in my... Anyway. All right, I was listening to the radio. Um, yeah. Yeah, 318 guys coming back. Hell, let me get my morning paperwork stuff done. Yeah, I don't have any paperwork. It's a lie. I'm just tired of live streaming. But I'll try to get some. You know, I do have a lot of footage, y'all, and I tell folks that, and then I get lazy about getting it up. But to be real honest, the ad money has been, and from the channel, I get ad money from it, and it's becoming enough to where it gets my attention, and I'm willing to sacrifice some of my time when I'm off to making the channel better. I guess. I mean, I'm reaping a little bit of the reward for my time, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hate to make promises though, y'all, because I get lazy and When I get home, man, I don't want to. I'm not gonna say that. I don't get lazy. I just have priorities, and sometimes this channel isn't a top one. But like I said, the ad revenue money's definitely it's significant. I'll just say that it's significant. Go start y'all a channel. Anyway, that's